partner, here every day from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for 2 hours of live stream writing accountability, followed by a half-hour-ish share what you did wrap up chat. So you can keep this window open. You can keep this video open as a separate window or a separate tab, sort of as background noise, as though we were in a digital shared workspace, because we're not going to be chatting until the end. Or you can watch along, read along with me as I get my work done for today. If you are new, you're going to see that I work in tabbed windows. I'm working predominantly in a tabbed window or in any window that's taking up the full space of my computer screen. And that is to reduce distraction, because I do have obsessive compulsive disorder subtype sinner doubter, which is anchored in social anxiety, and that just awareness of people proactively communicating with me when I'm trying to do something means my focus is going to be on them rather than on the work. So I do have everything set up so that I can spend 2 hours getting work done, followed by a glorious half hour of talking to you about your projects, about my projects, and about the creative process in general. So during these 2 hours, I am going to have the chats for both YouTube and Twitch open the whole time I'm working, so you can pop into those and you can share what it is you're working on, the progress you're making, questions that you have about the creative process or my projects, comments about your work, my work, just anything really regarding what we get done together during these 2 hours. And when the 2 hours are up, I will hop into the chats and I will respond to every comment made, every comment, every question, because that is what a chat is for. So I'm just getting myself all squared away here. And today is day 100. Whoosh. All right. So, Rosie's got things to do for day 100. Things to do. I'm actually late to my journaling routine today because I was so excited for day 100 that I got started early. So now I have to catch up on that here in my bullet journal before I can handle what comes next on the screen. So let me think. I'm going to be doing 100 days stuff, so I'll go ahead and open that. There we go. We did the cocoa and the ratio. actually have this open. Okay. So, what all do I have to work on this morning? Thursday, so there is. That really ought to be enough for today. What if I need... There's more on the can-do list. Just make a thing. That was the thing that was missing. Great. So that all is what I have set up for today. I'll be right back to Perkovy, Perkovy. All right. No, not yet. It's up. That's all me, probably. I don't have one pre-populated because I changed my mind at the last minute how I wanted to run this. Alright, so what we're going to do is take this one and do a lot of editing. start with the updates because they're more straightforward and then get into the creating. Yeah. That. I thought that was gonna. Aw. Okay. I thought that was gonna open in a new, like as a pop-up. What I should do is gotta be share overlay. I wonder. This could be made to work. I really do like the overlay. Let's see. Let's see what happens. The link isn't working. That's why it's coloring itself like that. Okay. What are all these? Freckle frats. Redirect is recommended for non-PS websites. Fine, I'll just put the link the way it was, but there should be an option for having it open in a separate window. That function should be added. want to take out this. Which is what I wanted the image for. Right. Okay then. That ought to do. It's not what I hit. Don't be rude. Son of a bitch. What? Oh, Freckle Frats. You need to designate a safe zone. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The T and the S don't fit. So we'll just use that to inform where the edges should go. Crying out loud. I want to bring it actually slightly in, like that. To give myself enough room. For coffee. hypertrophy. And now all right. Right options. Let's see if this will work. Let's see how it looks. Let's just see. Son of a bitch. I don't know what the alt attribute is. God damn it. Alright, let's try something else. Where's the image? Okay. Fantastic. Now, what did I want to update about? Start time. So good. So good! I'm only slightly annoyed with how impressed I am by myself. Oh, that's nice. Makes it a little easier to read. My first official young adult story. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my god, it looks so good. To my separate sites. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. What? Oh, Jesus Christ. And my mouse is gone. Nope, got it. Got it. Close that, close that. Alright. Lists OBS images should be a very straightforward fix. So there, that'll help it stand apart from the edge just a little bit. Oh my goodness, skirt. Shish kebab. I just want that to be easier to read. So file. Wait. Right, I put the keynote in there, so if I replace the file on the desktop, so I just need to take that out real quick. Perkapy. Alright, so now if I replace that, how it's lined up now. To okay, so that did in fact adjust things, which means now I need to adjust over here how the images are So now, not looking at the chat, not looking at the chat. How can I'm gonna use this notebook. Can you see that I'm holding up a notebook? Okay, good. I'm gonna hold up this notebook so I can't see the chat. I'm just making sure that when I look things up, I am not looking at the chat. I am just making sure that when things are not highlighted on the screen, that's easy to read at the bottom. Now checking on YouTube, again, not looking at the chat. Just want to make sure that everything updated looks well. I know the YouTube chat will delete if I just hit refresh. Let's just do that. And when you take your scroll away, you can in fact read the bottom. Good. Okay. Now, making sure I don't look at the chat, because the chat is distracting to me. Anybody new who does not know why I just blocked part of the screen from my view, I save responding to the chat till the final half hour wrap-up chat portion. If I look at the chat, it's going to distract me and I need to get work done. So that's just not an option right now. Okay, so I have updated this, which means now it's time to work on the border image for Sally. It's going to work in this way. File. Makes the most sense here. I'm gonna save that one. Is that the color I want to use there? case when the time comes, all I have to do is jump in. Okay, now typewriter. I need a backdrop for when I'm working on my typewriter, which will probably be a variation on this. Yep. And now we just need to change the font. All right. That ought to do for that. And I can always come in and add a little blurb. In fact, I just, now or later, All right, let's see here. Let's go ahead and just make that available on I'll just go ahead and leave that red. Great, great. I now have a typewriter background for when I need it. And this. I only got a couple minutes left, so I'm probably only going to be able to work on updating my can-do list for the in-betweens. Can-do list for Sally Forth. Put there. Showers. All right. So can-do list. Inkshare is applicable. What other deadlines do I have? Right. and it is now 11:01. Fantastic. So I'm going to do, which means we're done with the writing for today. And I'm just going to keep sharing my screen. I know I usually don't share my screen for the wrap-up chat portion, but I figured to start it off so that you know what I'm looking at, and maybe even I'll keep it open during the chat when I'm jumping between tabs, just so you can, again, reiterate in your own mind that I don't look at the chat while I'm working. All right, so if this is your first time here, the wrap-up chat works like this. First, I'm going to give a brief summary of what all I got done in case you weren't watching and reading along. And then I'm going to hop into the chats on both YouTube and Twitch, making notes as I go on what you've said in those chats so that I can create some AuthorTube, WriterTube videos based on the talking points. And I will I'm going to respond to everything that you say in the chats. I'm just going to make notes over here as I go, so that, these are just prompts for making videos. And these prompts I've actually gotten through the first 50 days of 100 Morning Writings to pull these notes, some of which are going to get simplified, combined, separated out into more steps, those kinds of things. But, yes. So, brief summary first, and then we'll get into the wrap-up chat where I respond to everything that you commented in the live chats on both YouTube and Twitch. So brief summary, I got started on my morning journaling a little late today because this being day 100, it's not just the last day of this first official set of 100 Morning Writings, it's also the last day of my Inkshares campaign for 31 Days of Narratemes. And so I jumped on early in order to change this info so that it would link people over to the 4 Gifts You Carry. See the cover here, which if you look very closely, it says 31 Days of Narratemes as an alternate title for the 4 Gifts You Carry, because in the final updates of the guided journal, I decided to the 4 sections that the Narratemes are naturally split into, I associated each with a different gift that a hero might receive during a quest in order to complete that quest. So, and it's an easier name to remember than 31 Days of Narratemes. A lot of people don't know what a Narrateme is. So the 4 Gifts You Carry, it sounds like this is something that it just immediately reiterates the idea that what you need in this questing framework you already possess. It's just now knowing how to use those gifts. So because I jumped in early and got this squared away, I had to catch up on my morning bullet journaling. I have little finicky things that I do in my morning journaling. So that was that. Then I went into 31 Days of Narratemes and I posted the final lesson exposure on Inkshares and shared it to the Facebook group, The Golden Goose Eggs. Then I wrote the final reader update for the campaign, which included a link to today's article on thegoldengooseeggs.com. No. It opened the latest article on thegoldengooseeggs.com. Some heroes leave out the best part of their journey. It also linked to today's bonus journaling prompt in the Facebook group and linked to the self-published PDF of the 4 Gifts You Carry, which does actually include all 25 of the bonus journaling prompts that I wrote that connected back to the topics of the book that were getting posted in the Facebook group over the course of the 100 days. So those 25 journaling prompts are in their own their special section at the back of that PDF, which is available at gum.co/the4gifts-you-carry, with capital letters for each of the words. That's also linked to gum.co/ capital T, the capital F4, capital G, gifts, capital Y, U, capital C, carry, is also linked to, if you just go to thegoldengooseeggs.com and then you click here, a guided journal, that will also take you to the gifts you carry. So got that all squared away. Then I went on Buffer and I made sure that my Wonder Tales are just auto posting on LinkedIn, and I was making sure that these Wonder Tales here that are listed in the content section, one of which, The Lion in Love, is here available to read on this particular project, but also all these are links to Exterminating Angel Press, the magazine, and a few to my SoundCloud account. So these are all the stories that I've published so far, the ones that are linked and underlined. But I made sure that these linked published stories were all going out on Buffer. Then I wrote my daily blog post for today, inspired by the quote, "The present is the past in disguise," which is a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. Then I made a new Goose Eggs group banner and used that banner to update the goldengooseeggs.com. So you see here the goldengooseeggs.com, and I made the new image for the Facebook group, and I put it here on the Goose Eggs website to link over to the group. And then I went to my site, better-storytelling.com. This is my official author page. It is the hub through which I link to all of my projects online. And here in the book section, this used to have the cover for 31 Days of Narratemes. Now it has the new cover with the new title, 4 Gifts You Carry. And again, it links to where you can purchase that book. And also, these titles are available. Lying to Children, which is a book of humorous poems about lies that people have told children. These are actual lies people have told children. About half the poems in this book come from my own family. It started as a Kickstarter project. And then this book, I Need a New Home, is a teeny tiny picture book I wrote. So yeah, I just updated my books page, each cover linking to a separate window where you can purchase said book. Then if you look at how here in OBS there's this gold border around everything. And I can screen share, or I can just show you my face. This gold border situation, I updated that. So specifically here, it's a little wonky. Over here, when I'm screen sharing, I have a little lengthier blurb about how I split the time, and I adjusted that so it's easier to read. And I also made a version of it in gray for my next project and the next 100 days, which is going to be centered on my book Sally Forth. So I wanted the border image to just, along, as you can see with, better-storytelling.com, I changed the colors and I swapped the fonts in order to show off that Sally Forth is my current priority project. bit.ly/sallyforth or inkshares.com/book/Sally-Forth, hence the reason I made the bit.ly link. But this is going to be my next priority project, so I made an OBS border image that will help to emphasize that. And I also made an OBS border image for those days that instead of screen sharing, you're just going to see me, and I'm going to be sitting here using my typewriter. There are certain sections of the story that I might not want there. Like, I want to avoid spoiler issues. And I also want to avoid, when I'm working toward submission deadlines for particular publications, like exterminatingangelpress.com or Exterminating Angel Press, the magazine, and Fairy Tale Review, and other places. Exterminating EAP hasn't really said that this is an issue, but Fairy Tale Review has, where they want previously unpublished work. And so any place where your work is available to read online can be considered previously published. So to avoid that, I'm just going to have the video of me like we have here right now when I'm working on my typewriter, working on those stories. So Sally Forth is going to be the priority project, but I am going to have certain days where I prioritize writing my shorter fiction, specifically my Wonder Tales, in order to submit those to various literary publications, particularly EAP, the magazine, where I'm a contributing writer, and Fairy Tale Review, where I would like to be a contributing writer. So I went ahead and I made a special border for that. I have not uploaded it as yet to the OBS studio, but there's just basically a little additional blurb that's going to go in this blank space here, letting people know that, hey, the reason I'm not looking at my computer at all is because I'm working on my typewriter. All distraction free like, so there we go. And yes, so that's what I did here. And then the update, the can-do list for the in-between. My memo board is full of can-do lists, which are similar to to-do lists, except a to-do list carries with it the idea that you have to get all the things on that list done that day. And the can-do list is just, as a person with OCD, I've split up my day into my various routines. And so I'm basically working on the can-do list for the in-between. The in-between is what's happening between the end of this 100 days and the start of the next 100 days. So if you look at below the video, it says 1.100, and tomorrow it'll say 1.100.1, because it'll be the in-between days. And it won't be the official 100 days, but I will be switching to the Sally Forth border starting tomorrow, in preparation for the 100 days of Narratemes, and for the next round of 100 days of Narratemes. And so my list of things that I can be working on and should be working on is what I've written here, and then also items for working on Sally Forth and getting things squared away so that I can then create the can-do list of what I work through every day when Sally Forth is the priority during the next 100 days. I'll have that squared away as well. So got my can-do list for the in-betweens, good to go. And that means now that I've finished the brief summary, that I can pop in here, YouTube, nothing in the chat, Twitch, got a few items in the chat. Okay, the Wolf Chicken, hello there. I know you don't read comments until the end, but if I am not around by then, I just wanted to say hi. Hi, Wolf Chicken. I'm looking for names for characters. I am horrible at naming them. Well, let's see. You can always I can shut these two windows now. All right, so naming characters. You can name characters by using mythological figures. Baby naming websites are really good because you can search the meaning of a name. So whatever you really want a character to stand for, you can search that character trait as a potential meaning for a character in order to find names. You can also just steal from favorite stories and then alter, so you can find variations on a name. There was, oh my goodness, very recently, there was talk online about the potential of a female reboot of Indiana Jones. And is it Spielberg who directed that one? I think it's Spielberg. The director for the original Indiana Jones films was talking about if they did a reboot, they would have to change it to Indiana Joan. And everybody online is like, no, you don't. Jones was the last name. Plenty of women have the last name Jones. Indiana, he was called Indy for short, which is still a perfectly good nickname for a woman. Or, if you really want the name to be feminine, you could call her Anna, short for Indiana. So, you don't have to change the name. The same goes if you were to gender swap Sherlock Holmes. You could just keep Sherlock. Sherlock is a gender-neutral name, and, even in versions of the Sherlock Holmes story where, they're giving Sherlock a nickname, they call these men Shirley. And it's not a big deal. In the American modernized Sherlock Holmes show, Elementary, John Watson is swapped for Joan Watson, played by Lucy Liu. So you can hearken to your favorite characters from literature, from mythology, from wherever, and just tweak the names in order to make them a little bit modern, or to swap up the gender, or even to change the race of a character. I know I've seen that somewhere, where they really just changed the last name of a character, but it was similar enough to the previous characters that you just kind of, you just kind of knew that they were in reference to those same characters. I can't remember a race swap, but I do remember specifically that for the show House, you have Gregory House instead of Holmes, and then his best friend on the show is Wilson, and Wilson is the Watson to his Holmes, and so they were just doing that by initials, just setting up the pairing of those two. It's like, why is this reasonably sensible human being friends with this lunatic? Oh, because it's a Holmes-Watson dynamic, the House-Wilson dynamic. So you can take character names from everywhere. I know that in whatchamacallit, the Hunger Games series, the author Collins for the Hunger Games, for the people who were living in the capital and more likely to be villains, had names that were taken from Greek philosophers and Greek thinkers, and that many of the characters that you were following and that you were rooting for had names taken more from nature. Katniss is a plant. Prim is short for Primrose. Her friend Gale is a force of nature. I can't remember what Peta is. Or I think it might have just been, Peta might have just been a variation of Petra or Petter the name Peter, which comes from the word stone, and his character is very strong, and Gale is a force of nature, and many of the hunting tactics he uses work with nature. So there are different elements of the characters' names that reveal something about their characters. In my story, Sally Forth, the title of the book isn't the name of a character. It's taken from a writing about in the 1800s of revenants, where they were talking about these undead, there were these testimonies of people seeing undead creatures rising from their graves and seeming to just sally forth. And that was the phrase that was used in the 1800s about how they just walked on. And that was just all they had the will to do, was to just walk on. And because moving on and moving forward is a theme of the growth that the three young women have to work through in the story, that's why I chose the title for the story. And also why I chose that title for the name of the Sally Forth Institute for Revenant Research and Containment. So it sounds like a person's name, but it also harkens to the major theme of the story. So these are things that you can do with playing on words from nature, from general vocabulary, and virtues and vocabulary. So those are all different things that you can take from in order to find the names for your character. The character of Ruth in that story, I was having the hardest time naming her character. Her character was originally Elizabeth, but then with Beth for short, but then I realized that left her and Taylor alive as Elizabeth Taylor, and I did not want to have that accidental reference in there. I love Elizabeth Taylor, but I just did not want to have that reference. It would have distracted a little bit from the story if anybody had noticed it. And I was looking for all sorts of different other names other than Beth. And eventually I came to Ruthless for its biblical reference, because Ruth is one of three women who gets her own book in the Bible. There's the book of Ruth, the book of Esther, and the book of Wisdom, or Sophia. And Ruth, there's a reading from her book in the Bible, which is only 3 chapters long. It's one of the I think it's the shortest book in the Bible. It's only 3 chapters long, and there's a section in there that is frequently used in wedding ceremonies because of what she says to her mother-in-law after she herself has been widowed. Her mother-in-law tells her that she can go back to her family, back to her people, because she's no longer bound to her as family. And Ruth says, "Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people." And so because she takes her mother-in-law as her true mother, and anything she does in her life going forward in those 3 chapters is going to benefit her, she's also going to make sure it benefits her mother-in-law, who is no longer protected by any men in her life because she herself is also a widow. So there are many places to grab character names. Really think about who that character is, what that character stands for, and things that you want to tease to your audience about your character as a way of picking a character name. Jumping to YouTube again, back to Twitch. Wolf Chicken also says, "This is for a fantasy book. 4 powerful beings with the elemental attributes earth, air, fire, and water. Each one is also connected to an animal. Earth, snake. Perfect. Air, raptor. Interesting. Fire, wolf. Intriguing. Water, mermaid." Pretty straightforward. All the characters are female. I've been searching for other languages all morning: Cherokee, Latin, Greek, Hindu, etc. I hate to be that guy, but I am probably just going to go with Latin. In all caps, I know it's a cop-out, LOL. Naming is hard. Naming is tricky, but I hope that the information that I've given you about all the different angles that you can take, not just Latin, will just help you to think about alternate things. You can also, if they're changing the spelling of names that already exist and already are common, or changing up the way you pull a nickname from an existing name. So, all right, changing current name spellings, quote unquote, funky nicknames. So what I mean by funky nicknames, an example for this, I'm going to pull from life. Give me a moment. I, once upon a time, began writing a book called The Janitors with my sister Emily. Please feel free to follow this on Inkshares. Inkshares.com/books/the-janitors. Please feel free to check out this book. The first chapter of which is online, nothing else is. And so you have here the Three Musketeers meets Firefly, a team of secret agents venture through the galaxy, squashing threats and enemies while posing as menial janitors. But here in the first blurb, for like what would be the back copy of the book, it says, in a galaxy far, far away, a different far, far away, young security officer Zan, with an X, has just earned herself a reassignment. Whether the new job is a punishment for stashing dangerous contraband or a reward for some damn good timing remains to be seen. Now, Zan is short for Alexandra, which is a reference to Alexander Dumas, who wrote The Three Musketeers. But also Zan having that X, but still being pronounced Zan, to my mind, when I first heard that, when my sister Emily first told me that was the name she was giving that main character, my mind immediately went to that show Farscape, where John Crichton is like is basically just playing with wormhole technology, spaz, and he gets hurtled across space to a completely different galaxy. He gets sent far, far away. A human sent to a completely different galaxy. And there he meets this beautiful blue, very zen alien named Zan. And it just reminded me of that. And so again, it harkens to this idea of being in a galaxy that is very far away, because that's not typically a nickname that you hear on Earth. And it's just finding ways again to reference different characters, different works that you love. Wolf Chicken, thanks for the advice. I will watch the rest of the video later. I have to head out. Thanks for the stream. Thank you very much for joining. I'm glad I was able to help out and give you some useful information for naming characters. And I believe that actually wraps our time together today, because no one else is interacting in the chat and asking questions. And also, you may have heard some noise come from my phone. I have alarms set to make sure that I move through my routines during the day and make sure I get things done, like eating, because when you have OCD, you can distract yourself so easily you forget to eat. I know you don't have to have OCD to forget to eat, but it's very possible to have OCD and actually prevent yourself from eating, even though it's finicky. I'll have a whole separate video for just OCD-ness. How about this? OCD-ness. Forgetting to eat. Or not forgetting. There. Now I don't have to talk about it right now. I can make a special video for that on YouTube. But that concludes our time together for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, fingers crossed, because I am taking my computer in this afternoon to the Apple Store to get the keyboard fixed. So fingers crossed that works out okay, and that I'll be here back tomorrow at our usual time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for 2 hours of live stream writing accountability, followed by our half hour share what you did wrap up chat. And I'll be using the new spiffy Sally Forth borders starting tomorrow. What? So exciting! So exciting. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully. Good journey, my friends.